How are we, lads? How the hell are we? State of Origin 1 has been completed. New South Wales have won the first game. There it is. 18 points to 6. Cody's got the New South Wales flag on the screen.
Up the Blues.
Cody's Footy World is here to join us for the review. Cody, thank you for coming on. Up the Blues, 18-6 win over Queensland. Really, really pleased that we got it done in game one. How are you feeling, my friend?
Yeah, I'm feeling very good after that win. Yeah, it wasn't the best per se, but doesn't matter how it's done. You get the job done, and now's our first game one win since 21. So that's at least get that out of the way, and we're going into the second game full of confidence.
Yeah, New South Wales will be heading over to Perth, looking to go up 2-0. So, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Hello to the live chat, as always. I hope everyone's doing well. Hello to Bosky. Hello to SS Storm fan. Hello to Joshua. Hello to Michael Driver. Hello to Lockie. Luke, Melbourne Storm fan. Everyone that's tuning in. Jason Reader, Will Storm fan, and everyone else that's watching. Hello to Cooper. Hello to everyone that's here. I just want to say quickly as well, guys, if you haven't already, do not forget to like the stream and make sure you do subscribe to the channel, guys. Would really appreciate that. Like and subscribe. And if you haven't checked out Cody's YouTube channel, it is Cody's Footy World on YouTube. He's a mad South Sydney Rabbitohs supporter. Make sure you go and check out his content. It is very, very entertaining, especially the vlogs when it gets down to the nitty gritty. It's very, very entertaining.
Yeah, it's been like that for most of the vlogs this year.
Especially the Roosters game and the
Broncos game.
Broncos game in particular. There's been quite a few. Now, we are going to give player ratings on every player from tonight. Obviously, 10 being, out of this world, 1 being really bad, 5, being, I guess, in the middle. We'll get to that very soon. But Cody, what did you make of the game? What'd you think of the game?
Well, as an overall for the game, it was fairly scrappy, especially in that second half with so many knock-ons happening repeated after each other. I reckon the first half was very good for the Blues, especially going out 14-0.
Yeah,
and obviously what happened at halftime, what happened, and Queensland got on the board in a way at least. But yeah, as a game overall, I think it was pretty good. Not one of the best games we've had, but got the job done. That's all it is, really.
I definitely enjoyed the first half more than the second half. Absolutely. The second half was. I know that everyone could feel that nervous tension when Queensland scored and it got back to 14-6. I know everyone was a bit nervous around that part, but the first half definitely was better than the second half, I think, anyway. A few people in the chat asking about players, who was good, who wasn't good. Don't worry, guys. We're going to give our thoughts. We're going to give our opinions. I've got some hot takes on who I thought was good and bad. But I think the Queensland side are the ones that are going to have more changes in the next game just because they lost. It was in Brisbane, and there were a few players who were pretty bad. So no doubt Queensland will have to make a few changes. As for New South Wales, well, would you really change anything? Considering we won tonight, then I know our second half was pretty scrappy, but would you, as a New South Wales supporter, I wouldn't change shit. I wouldn't change.
I agree with that. I don't really see any changes happening. I reckon everyone did a very good job tonight.
The only way we make changes is if players get injured at club level. I think that's the only way that
Injured
happens.
or suspension.
Yes. Now, obviously, the tries from tonight's game, it was 4 tries to 1, but bugger me, Nathan Cleary's goal kicking, I think he was 0 for 3. It was quite bad. And then I think Lomax missed one, and it was that was at the end. I think Cleary he made one conversion and missed like 3. So yeah, pretty ridiculous. And then obviously Lomax missed one towards the end there. But the try scorers from tonight, Lomax had 2 tries, Toto had 1, Dylan Edwards had 1, and for Queensland, Xavier Coates scored for them. We'll start with Queensland because they were beaten tonight. What'd you make of Queensland? Like obviously, they got blown away in that first half, but they did well to only be down by 12 points at half time.
Yeah, I think going throughout most of the first half, they were looking very ordinary and they were looking fatigued, like within the first 15 minutes of the first half. But with the second half, to come out and firing in the sin bin the Toto, I think that really cracked them out of their shells, really, and they did show some momentum for most of that second half, but they had many chances to go over and score, but they didn't capitalise it to go over.
I've got to ask you, obviously the sin bin, right? Brian Toto goes to the bin. Penalty try or not? What do you reckon?
Nah, there wasn't really much in it, really. So the fair call was sin bin and a penalty to the Maroons, but there was nothing really much in it.
I disagree. I disagree. I thought penalty try for sure, man. Like, he kicks the ball cross field. Xavier Coates goes up. He catches it. Then he drops it. He's tackled in the air by Brian Toto. Xavier Coates is already in the try line. So he's already over the try line. It's a try scoring situation because he's going for the try. He drops the ball. I know he was obviously Brian Toto was in the sin bin, professional foul, but for me, Cody, try scoring situation, it was over the goddamn try line already. I thought penalty try for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you could also counter argue that could have been the result as well, but really, it's just what we just saw on the field. But either way, it was bit of a controversial call, but Simbin was the right call regardless.
Yeah, and if you look at it, it didn't matter a whole lot because Coates did get his try, and then Val kicked it from the sideline. So Queensland did get their points that they missed out on there with the no try. So it was a tough call. For me, penalty try, but you disagree, that's fine. We're all going to have different opinions tonight. Like, I might give someone a 7 out of 10, and you might think they were a 5 or a 4. So we'll see how we go with the play ratings. But at one point, New South Wales had a penalty count of 6-1. Now, do you think Ashley Klein refereed this game well, or do you think he made a lot of or do you think he made a few bad calls?
I definitely think there was a few bad calls from Klein tonight, but overall, I think Klein did a very good job as what he does. I mean, there were some calls that went right, some calls that went wrong, but I think he did a very good job overall tonight.
The only negative I have with Klein was I think there was some decisions where he could have let go instead of constantly giving away, a penalty for a certain thing. Like, for example, there was a tackle against Fodawaker on one of the New South Wales players. There wasn't a whole lot in it, but it was a penalty. Then there was one where I think it might have been Angus Crichton. I think he pulled the leg on someone, and there was a penalty there, or 6 again maybe. So there were definitely a few things he could have let go, but especially where I think it was Moses, where he pushed Cherry Evans, and Cherry Evans made Moses knock the ball on. That was tough because Cherry Evans couldn't do anything. And then if you actually go back and listen to it, Cherry Evans went off at Klein, and Klein said, "Look, that one is unlucky, but because you're in the ruck, it's a penalty." So fair enough. Now, we might as well get to some play ratings, I reckon, Cody. We might as well. Should we start with Queensland or should we start with New South Wales with play? I think we start with Queensland.
Yeah, go with Queensland first.
Let's start with Queensland. Player ratings. Let's see how different or how much of the same we have here. So, guys, we're going to give some player ratings. You guys are more than welcome in the live chat to let us know what you would give certain players. So, for example, I'll say Kalen Ponga. You guys in the chat, if you want to get involved, write Ponga and then write a number next to him so we know who you're talking about. So don't just write 5, 7, 3, 8, in the chat. Make sure you write the player's name as well. So me and Cody know exactly who you're rating and what your opinion is. So make sure you do that. We'll start with Kalen Ponga. Cody, what would you give Ponga tonight? What would you make of his performance?
He's very quiet tonight. We'll give him a 3 out of 10.
Oh, ouch. I will give Ponga a 5. I think he really tried to get in the game in certain periods, but he struggled to get in the game because the forward pack was just so dominant. So, although he didn't have a great game, I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. Xavier Coates, arguably one of Queensland's best. What would you give Xavier Coates?
Yeah, he was one of the better players tonight. I'll give him a 5.5 out of 10.
I'll give him a 7.5 because I don't think there were a lot of good Queensland players out there. So I'll give Xavier Coates a 7.5. He was pretty good for them, I thought. The other winger, Valentine Holmes. What'd you make of Valentine Holmes tonight?
Yeah, I reckon he played good tonight. I'll give him a 5 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah, I know he was a little bit quiet out there tonight, but there were some plays where he would really bring you into the New South Wales defence there.
Look, he had a couple of good carries, no doubt, but and look, obviously you can't blame it all on Val, but his opposite winger, Zach Lomax, scored 2 tries tonight, and that was on Val Holmes' wing. So I'm going to take that into account. I don't think Val was that good tonight. I'm going to give Val Holmes a 4 out of 10. I don't think he was great.
Yeah, fair, cool.
Now, the debutant, Robert Toya. What did you make of his performance?
I reckon Toya had a pretty good first impression for his debutant game tonight. He was close at like twice in that game to go over and score. He played good. I reckon I'll give him a 5 out of 10.
I'm going to disagree with you on this one. I thought he was terrible. I don't think it was great. I don't think he had enough ball. I thought he was quite poor, to be honest. The only positive thing I can give Robert Toya was he did an okay job on Latrell Mitchell. He did an okay job, but not the greatest debut in my opinion. I'll probably give Robert Toya, probably a 4 out of 10 to be honest.
See?
What about the Hammer?
He was quiet tonight. 4 out of 10.
He was very quiet. He was. What would you give him?
4.
A 4. Mate, I'm going to give him a 3. I'm going to give Hammer. I'm going to give Hammer a 3. And to be honest, I am a big Hammer fan. But my God, he barely touched the ball, and he didn't. And when he had the ball, he didn't do anything with it. So I don't know, man. I thought Hammer was. Shocking. I'm going to give him a 3 out of 10. To be honest.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, very piss poor tonight, but
What
it is
about
what it is.
Munster? Cameron Munster.
He was definitely one of the better players. We'll give him a 6.5 out of 10.
I'll probably give him a 7, maybe 7.5. I'll probably give him a 7.5. I thought Munster was one of their best. Queensland, like I said, they didn't have a lot of great players tonight, but I thought Munster was, Munster was good. Probably a 7.5, same as Xavier Coates. Now we get to the forward pack, and they definitely struggled in the fullback. There was a couple of them that were really strong, but
What about Cherry?
oh yeah, Cherry Evans. Actually, let me hold the phone before we get to the forward pack. Cherry Evans. I'm keen to hear your opinion on this.
Yeah, he was all over the place tonight. 3 out of 10.
I believe Daly Cherry Evans should be dropped. He is getting old. He's slowing down. His performances at Manly the last few weeks have been really flat, and his contract saga seems to be getting in the way of his performances on the field. His performance tonight was dreadful, man. Absolutely dreadful. I thought Cherry Evans was terrible. I'm going to give him a 2 out of 10, to be honest. He was one of the worst players on the field.
I can agree with that, but yeah.
Billy Slater needs to stop giving Cherry Evans the favoritism because of his old experience, and he's a legend of the game, but Billy Slater needs to make a big call and drop Cherry Evans.
That will be a massive call. You reckon you go Munster and Dearden?
We'll get to that soon, but I think it only makes sense. We get to the forward pack now. Mo Fodawaker, look, he had a couple of good carries, Mo Fodawaker, but he didn't really. It wasn't that good for me. I'll give Fodawaker probably a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll go the same 4 out of 10 for Fodawaker.
Tino Fasua Malawi. Now, big Tino, man. As much as I dislike the bloke, I'm not a big fan of Tino. I thought he was good. Again, probably one of Queensland's better players. I'll give Tino a 6.5.
I'll give him a 6.
Tino was good, to be honest. Ruben Cotter. What would you rate Ruben Cotter tonight?
Yeah, one of your best players from the Cowboys. I reckon when he played tonight, I reckon he did all right. I'll give him a 5.5.
Yeah, look, I think Cotter was one of Queensland's best. I think he was. He played 64 minutes in the back row. He only ran for 51 meters, which isn't good for a back rower, but he had 45 tackles and missed none. So I think he had about 20 tackles in the first 10 minutes. So Cotter for me, even though in attack he probably didn't do much and didn't stand out, in the defensive department, Cotter was very strong, and I think he probably gets a 7 out of 10 for me.
Fair enough.
Jeremiah Nanai. What'd you make of Jeremiah Nanai, Cody?
Now, in the other Cowboys back row, yeah, he was there tonight. He put a bit on Latrell throughout the second half, especially. I'll give him a 5 out of 10, I reckon.
I thought Nanai was good. Like I know people are going to look at the stats and go, oh, what 43 run meters? What's this crap? They're all going to look at that and go, he played bad. But if you watch the game, Nanai was in the contest. He was constantly putting pressure when those bombs happened, where he was putting pressure on Dylan Edwards and Latrell Mitchell. He put that big hit on Latrell Mitchell, which led to the Xavier Coates try. So Nanai may not look like he had a good game on stats, but he was definitely in the game for me. And Origin's not about stats. It's about just players giving it a crack. So I'll give Nanai a 7. I thought he was good. Before we get to Carrigan, we better go to the hooker, Harry Grant. Harry Grant played 59 minutes at dummy half. What'd you make of Harry Grant?
He was terrible tonight. 4 out of 10.
He wasn't good, was he?
So
He
many
wasn't good.
knock-ons, knocked on back-to-back twice in the first half, and with one of them which led to a New South Wales try a few minutes later.
Yeah.
That's just terrible. And he got busted up as well, so 4 out of 10.
Yeah, look, I don't know. Harry Grant didn't have a great game, and there was question marks if he was even 100% going into this. He clearly wasn't healthy for this game. Like it's clear as. I'm going to give Harry Grant probably a 4 out of 10, to be honest.
Yeah, very cool.
We'll go to the lock. Patrick Carrigan. What'd you make of Carrigan?
Yeah, Carrigan did a job all right tonight. We'll give him a 4.5 out of 10.
I'll give him more than that. I thought he was solid. Definitely worked hard. I'll give him a 6. I thought Carrigan was quite solid, to be honest. Now we go to the bench. Now, Tom Dearden, he played 27 minutes at dummy half. And to be fair, Dearden actually surprised me at dummy half. What'd you make of him at dummy half?
Yeah, it was quite interesting. I was wondering how they were going to use Dearden going into this game because he's more of a half than playing a dummy half as a hooker.
Yeah.
I reckon he did pretty good tonight. I reckon give him for his short stint he was on. I'll give him a 5.5.
Yeah, I was right there with you. 5.5 for Dearden. He came on, brought a lot of energy off the bench for Queensland, and looked pretty good, to be honest. Looked pretty good. Lindsay Collins. I actually thought Lindsay Collins was really strong off the bench for Queensland. I'm going to give Lindsay a 6. I thought he was good.
Yeah, I'll go the same.
Bo Fermor, he only played 17 minutes, didn't get a lot of game time for his debut. It's good that he got a taste of Origin now. He'll be better for the run. Bo Fermor, probably for me, probably like a 4.5.
I'll give him a 4.
And Trent Liero, what'd you make of Trent Liero's debut?
Yeah, when he came on, he definitely got the forward pack a bit bigger, up and running. I'll give him a 5.5 out of 10.
I'm going to be completely honest here. I was against the Trent Liero selection for Queensland. I thought Corey Horsburgh, Ethan Bullymore, Cohen Hess should have been selected over him. And Liero didn't really stand out and obviously wasn't like anything amazing, but he played better than I expected him to play. So I'll give him a 6. I'll give him a 6. Now, on to New South Wales. Let's get into them. So, Dylan Edwards. What'd you make of Dylan Edwards at fullback tonight?
Yeah, I mean he played very good out there at fullback tonight, even scoring the winning try for New South Wales as well. I'll give him a 6.5 out of 10.
I think Edwards had a mixed game. I think he had a mixed bag. He had a couple of errors where I think he dropped 2 bombs. Then there was an error in there somewhere. I don't think he was amazing. I thought he was. I'll give him a 5. I wasn't that impressed with Dylan Edwards, if I'm being honest. I'll give him a 5. Yep. Brian Toto on the left wing. I thought he was great.
Yeah, Toto was good as always when he plays Origin. Obviously, going off for 10 minutes didn't really help the side, but he did play well tonight. I'll give him a 6 out of 10.
I'm going to give Toto a 6.5, man. He was good. Bizza was very good. The other winger now, Zach Lomax, had 2 tries. For me, I'm going to give Lomax probably a 7 out of 10.
I'll give him a 7.5.
He was good, wasn't he, Zach Lomax?
Yep, scoring a double as well.
The right centre, the one that everyone thought was injured, but we all know it was all for media show, so everyone could freak out about it. But Stephen Crichton's performance, I thought he was great, man. I'm going to give Crichton an 8. He was good.
Yeah, Crichton carrying his defence too and what he's been doing with the Dogs for all of this year so far, except for one game last week. I'll give him a 7.5 out of 10.
Stephen Crichton was fucking awesome, to be honest. Awesome. Latrell Mitchell. What do you reckon, Cody? I know you're a proud South Sydney supporter. What'd you make of your boy Latrell?
Yeah, Latrell did good tonight, I reckon. Obviously, getting the knock on, which led to the Queensland Maroons only try. He almost thankfully didn't, almost knocked it on again, which we got a captain's challenge success from that. For Latrell, I'll give him a 6.5 out of 10.
All right, I'm pretty much right there with you. I'm gonna give Latrell a 6. Definitely wasn't his greatest Origin game. Definitely wasn't his worst. Had some good and bad moments, but that's Origin. I'll give Latrell a 6.
Fair enough.
6 for Latrell. All right, Mitchell Moses. What'd you think of Moses at 6? What'd you make of it?
Yeah, Moses playing 6, which is not usually his normal position, but like he did in Origin Game 3 last year, he did pretty well for himself. I'll give him a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, the Moses Cleary combination, it still needs a lot of work, and I'm fine with it because we got the win. I don't think Moses was, I wouldn't say it was great, but I wouldn't say it was terrible. I'm probably going to give him a 6 as well.
Yeah.
I'll probably give him a 6. What about Nathan Cleary? What did you think of Nathan Cleary?
Well, obviously the one negative with him was his kicking with the goal score. Yeah, goal kicking wise, 1 from 4, which that was terrible as. But other than that, I think he did put in some good kicks in tonight as well. So I'll give him a 5.5.
Wow, 5.5.
Yeah, just needs to work on his kicking a bit better, I reckon.
I'm torn because Cleary did not miss a single tackle. He controlled the team fairly well. Definitely went quiet when Queensland were coming back, but look, he did his job. I think definitely not in the top 3 players. I'll give Cleary probably a 6.5.
Yeah, fair enough.
6. Actually, you know what? I'll change it. I'll give him a 6. Cleary a 6. Wouldn't say it was an 8. Wouldn't say it was a 5. It's probably a 6. 6 for Cleary. All right, Mitch Barnett. What'd you make of Mitch Barnett?
I reckon in the early stages of the first half, Barnett was bloody awesome. Putting in some good run meters there as well. I'll give him a 7 out of 10.
This is where we're going to disagree, and I don't want to get bashed by Warrior supporters, but I wasn't impressed with Barnett. I really wasn't.
Ooh, that's big.
I don't think he played great. Like I know, I said it before, obviously stats will say he played good, but it's not about stats when it comes to State of Origin. I don't think Barnett was that good. I thought he was very average tonight. I'm going to give him a 5.
Wow.
I'm going to give him a 5. Payne Haas. Now, Payne Haas was actually awarded the man of the match by Channel 9. Some disagree with that, and I think someone else should have got it, but we'll get to that very soon. What'd you make of Payne Haas?
Yeah, I will disagree with him winning the man of the match, but other than that, he did all right tonight. He was a little bit quiet out there at some parts. I'll give him a 5.5.
Fuck, really?
Yeah.
I'll give him an 8. I think someone else should have won man of the match, and I'll get to that person very, very soon. But 5.5, that's a big, big rating to give Payne. I thought he was better than that. I'll give him an 8, but fair enough. Well, what about Reece Robson at hooker? What'd you make of Robbo?
Yeah, Robson did pretty good tonight. Well, I wish he could have just probably played a bit more better in the ruck, but he did all right tonight. I'll give him a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, look, I'm probably going to give Reece Robson a solid 6. Did a good job in the middle. Didn't do anything flashy, but just made a bunch of tackles and did his job really. So yeah, and his passing to the halves was pretty good. So a solid 6 for Robson. The back rowers, mate, Liam Martin. What'd you make of Liam Martin?
Yeah, he did pretty good as well tonight. We'll give him a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10 for Liam Martin. I'm probably thinking 6.5. Thought Martin was really strong. Angus Crichton. What do you think of Angus?
I reckon Crichton did a bit better than Lee Martin.
Me too.
I'll give Angus Crichton a 7.5 out of 10.
I was going to say the exact same friggin' thing. 7.5 for Angus. He was strong, man. Angus was good. On that left edge, ran some good lines, made some good tackles. He was good, man.
Running a lot tonight as well, which we would love to see from your back rowers.
Obviously, the captain, Isaiah Yeo, in my opinion, should have been player of the game. I think he was ripped off player of the game. I don't understand how he wasn't player of the game. I thought he was best on ground. But what'd you make of Isaiah Yeo?
Yeah, I reckon I would have agreed with that. Isaiah should have won the man of the match for New South Wales. He was very solid. He was actually showing true leadership compared to a certain Manly player from last year and played most of the game this time. 10.
Cody's footy world taking shots at Jake Jaboyevich. Ouch.
Yep, I said that in my stream at some point as well. Like I said, Yo was bringing leadership. He was showing dedication and showing them what the forward pack as well. So that's what Jake Bailey did earlier that last year.
Ouch. Tough. Yeah, look, for me, Yo should have been player of the game. I thought he was unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable, to be honest. Should have been player of the game for me. His influence on the team, I thought he was great. For me, I'd give Yo a 9 out of 10. I think he should have been player of the game.
Yep, I agree with that.
Onto the bench, Connor Watson. He only played 15 minutes, but brought a bit of spark on when he came on late in the game. I'll probably give Watson a 5.
Yeah, same here. Give him a 5.
All right. Back fence Spencer Lenu. I know you don't like him, but what'd you make of his performance?
He did fine tonight. 5.5.
I'll probably give Spencer a 6. Did a good job. Had some good carries. Strong performance, to be honest. Hudson Young. What'd you make of Hudson Young? Good old Huddy Young. 26 minutes. I thought Hudson Young was pretty solid.
Yep, Young did pretty well. Unfortunately, when he did come on, he did let an error in close to the try line. But other than that, he did pretty well off the bench tonight. We'll give him a 5.5.
I'll give Hudson a 6.5. I thought he was strong. He almost scored twice, funny enough. But
yep.
Hudson was strong. And Max King on his debut game. Off the bench, Max King played 40 minutes, 106 run meters. Actually did not miss a tackle, funny enough. Look, Max King had a couple of runs early on, and he got absolutely smashed a couple of times. But overall, I thought King handled the arena quite well. I'm going to give King a 6.5.
I'll give him a 6.
Yeah, 6 out of 10?
Yep.
All right. Well, they're the player ratings, which is solid. Just a couple of stats I want to go over quickly. Patrick Carrigan had the most tackles. He had 53. Liam Martin had 42. Brian Toto had the most run meters at 228. And Xavier Coates had 171. Lomax had 2 line breaks. Xavier Coates had 1. Now, obviously, game 2 is obviously a few weeks away over there in Perth. Would you make any changes for New South Wales at all? I want to know. Would you change anything at all?
I'll probably say at this stage no, but if there is a player to make way, I'll say one, and that
Yep.
will be Max King.
Really?
That's obviously
Wow.
we're going into a game where if we must win, if we have to win the series 2-0, I reckon we'll get someone like that that has played Origin before, played a lot of meters, played better off the bench than when they start. I reckon we'll bringing experience will definitely kill it. I know Max King he did pretty good tonight, but that will be the only change I would make. I reckon.
The only change I would make is I would actually drop Mitch Barnett.
Massive call.
I would actually drop Mitch Barnett. I don't think he was any good. I'd drop Mitch Barnett and I'd actually bring in Keon from the Rabbitohs. I thought, Keon was very unlucky not to make the team. And I just think he offers more than Barnett. I don't think Barnett was great. I really don't. I know his stats say 110 run meters, 26 tackles, 2 missed tackles, but I just don't think Barnett was great. I don't think he played well. I don't know. I just wasn't impressed. There was something about his game that didn't make me that attached to his performance, I suppose. But what do I know? I'm just a content creator giving my opinion. So everyone's allowed to agree or disagree with it. But I don't know, man. I'd drop Barnett, but that's just me. Now, what about Queensland? You think they'll make a few changes?
Most definitely, they're going to make us a few significant changes when it comes to the game 2 coming up in a couple of weeks.
How many changes do you reckon they'll make?
That's tough. I reckon they'll make at least 3 changes.
I reckon they'll make 4. I'm just looking at the team now. There's going to be 4 or 5 changes in this team, easy. Easy. I think Robert Toya is going to get dropped. I really do. I think
Yep.
Val Holmes is going to go into the centres and they'll put Talangi on the wing if he's fit. If not, then maybe they'll put Dane Gagai in the centres for Robert Toya and leave Val on the wing. But the one change they have to make, bro, they have to put Tom Dearden a halfback. They have to do it. They have to do it now. They have to put Dearden at 7, Munster at 6. They have to drop Cherry Evans. They have to do it. His performance tonight, he wasn't good enough tonight, Cherry Evans, and they have to drop him.
Who would you come in as 14 then?
14, you got 2 choices. Actually, no, I was going to say use Ben Hunt, but I think he's injured. So
yeah, he's still injured at the moment.
I think Jersey 14, you either go with Kurt Mann or you go with Reid Marnie because Harry Grant can't play. He can't play 80 minutes. He's clearly still carrying an injury. I'd be very surprised if he played against the Storm, against the Titans this weekend. I'd be very surprised if Harry Grant played. But I think Jersey 14, you either bring in Reid Marnie, who can play 9, or you bring in Kurt Mann, who can play as that versatile player. Even like if you wanted to, you could even have Ruben Cotter play a bit of 9 and then bring Kurt Mann on through the middle. Like
Ruben Cotter at hooker, eh?
Well, that's where I used to play.
True.
I'm just trying to think. Like Harry Grant can't play the full 80 at hooker. It's just he was struggling. I guess the other changes I would make for Queensland. Nothing against Beau Fermor, but I think you got to start Beau Fermor or you don't play him at all because Queensland clearly need another big bopper on the bench, whether you bring in Josh Papali, whether you bring in Corey Horsburgh, Ethan Bullymore. I think Papali or a Horsburgh would be good for game 2. Even a Felice Carfusi, bro. Felice Carfusi, like he's a tearaway, man. He just loves he puts big shots on, and Queensland needs somebody that can slow down Spencer Leniu and contain these big forwards from New South Wales. So I think you bring Kafusi on the bench and you try and work out the rest from there. Maybe even Liero, who I thought was decent, he might even make way. But we'll see what Queensland do. We'll see what they do. Like, I think Mo Fodawaker might get dropped as well. He didn't play great.
Hmm.
I think Queensland need to start Tino and Cotter in the middle with Carrigan. Have Nanai on an edge with like Bo Fermor maybe or something. Like, they're going to make some changes. Who will take over as captain if DCE does get dropped? Well, that's a good question. Do you go Carrigan captain? Do you go Harry Grant? Do you go Munster?
Tino.
I'd probably go Munster, to be honest.
Yeah, either Munster or Carrigan, honestly.
I think you go co-captains, Carrigan and Munster. I think that's what you do, or even Carrigan and Cotter, to be honest. But bottom line, did and has to come in. Cherry Evans has got to drop. Is going to go. Cherry Evans' days are numbered, man. Now, I just want to ask you this, Cody, before we go. If Queensland lose this series, does Billy Slater get the axe?
Well, that will depend on some scenarios and circumstances. Given what we go into game 2 and with game 3 as well in the next couple of weeks. But despite if that was going to happen, I reckon Slater will stay.
If New South Wales win 3-1, 3-1. If New South Wales win 3-0, I think Billy's gone. If it's a clean sweep, he's gone. If it's a situation where it's 1-1 and it's a decider in Sydney and the Blues win a tight one, then he's probably safe. But yeah, I think you're right. It'll come down to a few scenarios if Billy does get sacked.
Yeah, it just depends on the second game, really.
Yeah, it will depend on the second game for sure. Michael says DC will get blamed if Queensland lose the series. Not necessarily. If he gets dropped and they go Dearden at halfback, and if Queensland win game 2, and if they lose game 3, then I don't think he gets blamed. But if Cherry Evans plays game 2 and they lose, then he probably does get blamed. He'll get bashed by the media and the fans.
For sure.
Anyway, guys, that's where the review's going to come to an end. Me and Cody appreciate you all for tuning in. Thanks for that, Cody. It was a lot of fun talking about the game with you.
Yeah, no worries, Nick. Thanks for having me on once again. I think it's the first time in a long time since I've been on your channel in some sort of way anyway. But overall, good result for the Blues. And bring on game 2 over there in Perth, which we were over there earlier in the year.
Yeah, we were over there round 6 when our teams were playing each other. So, a lot of fun. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe. Check out Cody's channel if you haven't already. Cody's Footy World. Appreciate you all in the live chat for watching and look forward to seeing some of the comments as well. Anyway, appreciate you guys. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. See you guys in the next one. See you later.
Go the Blues!